He's a producer.
What up, Dago? What up? What up? This is Black Wolf. It's been a while. It's another episode of He's a Producer. Like I told you, we were changing it from I'm a producer and to He's a Producer. So welcome to our first episode of this. And what I want to do is be correct and how can I put it? Professional. That this is a teaching podcast, if you want to call it that. Eventually there will be ebooks on how to do this. The software that I'm using today is called Machine. I am a producer. I do have published work to make me proof that I'm a producer. I'm currently working on 2 more albums that are looking to be released this year. I also work with artists, and I'm also getting involved in television and movie stuff. I've done some stuff. So my name is Black Wolf, and well, that's my producer name. And today we're going to basically look at editing from a software called Machine. So those of you who have Machine, it is what a lot of you know it as a it's like the granddaughter of the MPC. MPC, which was the go-to beat maker from Akai that a lot of rap producers were using back in like probably the 2000s or whatever. And basically Machine came up with a way to make it more software oriented. Also, you still have the machine itself, but it's now connected to software, and it makes it a DAW. So the DAW is basically designed. There's multiple DAWs. There's Cubase. There's Reason, which is another one that I use, and we'll be talking about that too. There's also it used to be called Fruity Loops, but now it's called FL Studios. And then there's various other ones that, have come about and gone. Pro Tools is one that is very professional in the industry. They use that. And then there's, it used to be called Cakewalk. Now it's called Sonar. So now we got that out the way. Today, we're going to look at so this is the software that we're looking at. And in this software, we have, it's the what do you call it, the computer wise or of the machine itself. The machine is also a machine itself. I'll show you that later, and then we'll go through profiles so you can see what it's all about. And eventually you can also go on YouTube and look on how to basically undo it. So in editing in this, you have software like this that you basically, and this is what we call a loop. And in the loop, it basically is how you build the beat. I have multiple loops in here that I use. The ones that are song formatted out, well, basically it looks totally different. I can give you an example of that too. Here's one right here. Call it Punch. So Punch is basically one that I basically did the editing for. And with me, and see how it looks different. It's basically, and what we would call this a song format. So in song format, each of these loops are put together and they're designed to work in a sequence where you can drop, you can drop, make drops, you can do add-ins, you can create verses right here. What's the V1? V1 is considered a verse. Hook, you know what a hook is. And then you have like verse 2 if you want. And sometimes you can say changes and then you can end it out. And that's basically a song format that you can remember in case you have a sale for the song or an artist is interested in buying the song or being on this song, they'll know where your verses are, which a verse normally in R&B and hip hop is 16 bars. We'll talk about bars too. And then the hooks are mainly 8 bars. Intros can be 8 to 4 bars. It matters how much you want to go in with your intro, which is basically the beginning of the track or song, because this is a song format itself. And then you have the outro. You can do an outro. I don't really do outros because I mean, pretty much after the hook is pretty much over for me, and then it ends. So another thing I do too, and we're going to talk about that too, is mixes. So this is a version where it's the mixing board. And if you look at all these channels, you have like the channel here to whatever, and they have their own little, you know, areas where you can bring the volume up, bring the volume down, do pans, you can put effects in there. There's a lot of things you can do in the channels, but we're going to talk about that too. Let's go back to the editing. So this is what it looks like when it's done with me as far as editing. Because with editing, I don't do my editing until it's been mixed. So before I do the mix, I'm gonna go back out of here. Before I do the mix, let's go into this one. I will build the track. And when I build the track, I basically build it in a loop format. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, this is one called Save Me. Now, Save Me is just one of multiple channels, or not channels, they're labels that I put them on. And in particular, I'll give you an example. I could call this Save Me. I can make it in a song format, and then an artist may take it and then they'll write a song, and the title of the track will change. It becomes a song. The song can be She Loved Me or something, or however you want to call it. So the track is still in my base called Save Me, but the song that it becomes is something totally different. Let's go out of here. So in here, this is my template, not template, but my, I guess you can call it my, my open, or however you want to put it, my recent work that I have. So here, these are recent things I've worked on, but I keep templates. So right here, where's one of the templates? I don't see the templates. Let's find a template. So since I don't see a template in here, that means that I've put all these up here. So when I can't find a template, I go in open, and in here I look for my template base. Now my database is big. I have a lot of projects in here. So I'll go to projects, I'll go to the other one, and then I'll look for templates in here. Now my templates, I have multiple templates. A lot of them are in, I'll say new, like this is one right here. It says, so this is one right here, new set, 2004 T whatever. And this one is new set 2024. A lot of these, I go for the most recent one. Let's try this one. I don't even know if this is right or not. So I'll go in here, I'll pull this up. And so this is the template. Now in the template, look below here, I'll have certain, like if it says Nexus, that is the most recent one I want to use, because I basically want to be able to open up and, create from here. So when I create, I'll go into, say, like a sound, like right here. I go into Nexus, which is one of my soundboards. I'll say, let's open it up and see. So now I'm in the program for Nexus, which is one of my VSTs. We're going to talk about VSTs too, which is voices, which are very important. And then say if I want to go here, and I'm just making up stuff right here. So I like to use arpeggio sometimes. And so this is just a sound. And I can do. And I may do something with this, but I'm making this up right now. I'm playing the keyboard. When I get to the point when I want to record it, I go to my machine and I'll set it up for a template. And what you're hearing now is what we call a counter or a tick-tock or a metronome, whatever you call it. But it's to keep you on rhythm when you're creating the track. So if I want to do this, say I go. And I have to stay in the rhythm. So there's that. So when I'm done with it, it stops. When I'm going to record, I set it up for record, and it would most likely keep me on track. Now, if I mess up, there's something called quantize, and we'll talk about that too, which aligns the rhythm to the catch, the sound to catch the rhythm. Here's another one, and there's hundreds of sounds in here. And this is something that you would hear in a club, right? Oh, you're like, what the fuck? So that's just an example of stuff to use. So when you're building it, you put that down and say, like, if I go with that, you know what? Say if I go with that, not that I would, but say if I do, I want to get out of this and it's still here. So now I'm in this form. So it's like, and what I would do is I'll put this on, go. You notice how the needle is moving. Now, I'm not recording yet, but when I record, it is something different. So I go in here and I press begin and record at the same time. Gives me a 4 count. You notice? You see it up there? It's actually recording now. You got to let your hand go at the right time so to catch the loop. Now it's a loop. It's playing by itself. I can turn record off. And while I'm doing that, I can go to another sound. Now the beauty of this is the other sound could still be in Nexus. You can go back up here while that's playing. So while it's in motion, you can still do it. This keeps you going. Because a lot of times when you have ideas for a track, it's in your head and you want to make sure that, you remember what it's doing, right? And if I want to put that in there, this is another sound. So I'll do record again. I'll stop it and say, you know what? Go. So again. Stop it. See that? Now that one was off a little bit. Now what you do there, if you don't like that, so I made a mistake there. I want to quantize it. So I'll bring it up here. I'll go here and I'll quantize it. So now it should be right. But let's see if I did it right. Here we go. Now, if that's not right, I can say, you know what? That's not right. I want to totally quantize it. And we'll do it again. So that's the format of how you create the loops. So you build, and then the loop is done. And then after I do that, I leave it alone. I build the loop and then I leave it alone. And when I leave it alone, I basically will go back and then maybe 2-3 days later, and I'll bring it back up and I'll listen to it. And then I'll maybe add some things or maybe take out some things. And it's up to you because you're the creator. You do whatever you want. A lot of times sometimes people come and say, well, you know, I want to do a Christmas song, or I want to do an R&B song, I want to do a hip hop song. So then you're kind of, I would say you're kind of a slave to the project itself, which is cool. I mean, if someone's paying you to do that, then do it. Hey, I'm not mad at you for that. I would do whatever. If you are making money, do that. But if you're just creating for the fact of you just create, you do whatever you want to do. So in that case, you can add more stuff, take more stuff away, whatever. But when you're done with it, that's when you want to go into this. I'm gonna put this back. You want to go into this, which is the mixing board, and you want to be able to mix it. So when you're in here, you basically can control each sound, the volumes, the panning, the effects, whatever you want to put on those sounds. Sometimes I do the effects in here too. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. It's up to you to build. Because up here, you can add effects to each channel or take effects away and basically make it your sound however you feel and you want it to be. Okay. Now I want to go back to what I was talking about, the editing. Now, editing to me is a little more complex because when you're editing, and this is a form of editing. I'm sorry. There's two forms of editing. There's editing when you're actually making the tracks and you're editing them to basically come together. And then there's the format where you're in here and you're actually taking like a track right here. And this is going to ask me if I want to save that. And I'm not going to save it because I'm not going to use it. I'm not saving that. So, and it puts me into this, whatever this is. So I'm going to see what this is. So this is a track that I was starting to work on. If you notice, I did a lot of things with it, okay? You look down here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks that I'm using. So I have drums too. I can take the drums out if I want by doing this. You still hear like a clap because I'm using that in here too. But if I want to bring them back, and this is where the editing is at, And I'm listening to what the track is because I'm trying to get emotion of it. I'm trying to understand it, and I'm trying to make sure it's exactly what I want. I titled it Look Out because for whatever reason I want to look out. I don't know. Now if I want to do something else and I say this, take the drum out again. Down here. Took everything out. It's that like where it is. And sometimes I do this to see how I'm going to basically do the final edit, which is when I make it into a song format, because I want to know how I want to make an intro for it. Because that's basically when you're as an artist, you're creating the actual beginning of the track. You know, you're making it. So I bring these drums as like, what am I doing here? What am I trying to show people? I want people to recognize this because this is a dance track. Just think of a whole bunch of 19-year-olds that are just having the time of their life and they're jumping up and down, and you want to embrace them. You want them to be empowered by your ability to create this sound, this track, and you bring in stuff in. And these are things that make them move, because as a creator, you have to understand that you are creating, you are making it what it is. You are the reason why this track is what it is and why people love your shit. As a producer, you owe them that. You owe them that. So your tracks have to always be off the fucking chain. And I mean that. I really mean that. Don't mean to curse, but I really mean that. So you have to be passionate about what you're doing. You have to be real about it. You have to not fake the funk, and you have to not be less, because people today, they understand music. They really do. I want to stop there. And this is something, all you out there who are beat makers, that's nice. I respect you. You're making beats. Understand that your beat is just the beginning of the process. So what I just showed you was a beat. Who can't make beats? What's next? How does it become a project? How does it become a song? How does it become something that the world will recognize and move to? You make that happen. Okay? We're going to go into more editing soon. We're going to pause for the cause. I want to thank you all for checking out. He's a producer, and I'm Black Wolf. It's been an honor.